Sup everyone, this is Draco Evolve back yet again with some more Manchester United content, and today's video is all about the top 3 midfielders that I think Manchester United should sign in 2020. Obviously it's in no particular order, so let's jump straight in. Look guys, I understand that Bruno Fernandez and Paul Pogba are very good at their respective positions. It's just that the depth worries me a lot. Looking at the bench, there's not many options, and if Paul Pogba or Bruno Fernandez gets an injury or needs a bit of a rest, then we're in a bit of a trouble. Bruno Fernandez has been fantastic ever since we've signed him, and the resurgence of how Paul Pogba is starting to perform with a potential new deal on the horizon, the two partnerships can be a devastating one. But where the problem is, in my opinion, is the squad depth, is the midfield bench. In the bench you've got Andres Pereira, who's not good enough in my opinion. You've also got Scott McTominay, who's still developing. You've got an aging Nemanja Matic, who starts most of our games, if I'm being honest. And you've got Fred. All are different types of players, not enough quality in my opinion. What we do really need is another creative midfielder who can come into the first team, can challenge Paul Pogba, the likes of Bruno Fernandes as well, and also be happy with playing from the bench majority of the time, but can also come in and make a huge impact. The 3 players that I put down together are players that I feel might be happy being at Manchester United, let alone starting every single game. The 3 players that I've put together not only are good players, but they are also very respectable in the positions that they play. They can add real quality in depth and also can play a majority of our games if our top midfield starting 3 needs a bit of a rest or out of form or injured. First up, we have Thomas Parte. Now, the 27-year-old is going to be a smart addition for Manchester United in my opinion. He plays in the highest levels, La Liga and the Champions League also, and he has proven himself at the highest level, something I feel that Fred has not been able to do so far. He is a midfield enforcer, steady, disciplined in my opinion. He's also makes very little errors and is an effective ball winner. In terms of him versus say someone like Ndidi will cost you far too much, whereas Thomas Partey will definitely cost you less than probably half of what Ndidi will cost you, but be able to perform still at the highest level. What we do need in the midfield, aside from a creative spark, but also a ball winner, we do not have that. We have an aging Nemanja Matic, and we still have Scott McTominay, who's got a very long way in my opinion to go to become that enforcer in the midfield. So that's my first choice, Thomas Partey. We'll have a look at some of his stats. So he has played almost every single game, scoring 4 goals, assisting 1. He can play in CDM or central midfield position, but predominantly he played a lot of matches for Atletico Madrid in the central defensive position. And yes, he is very, very disciplined. Someone I feel that can come in and immediately improve the starting 11 as well as add squad depth, especially in the midfield area. Next up on my list is none other than Donnie Van Der Beek, the 23-year-old Dutch midfielder who plays in Ajax. As many people have touting, he is the ideal replacement or even an ideal player to come in to the Manchester United central midfield. He's an industrious midfielder. He can play in attacking and central midfield. He's got creative sparks in him. He's also a very hard working midfielder, and I feel he's the type of player that definitely Oli would like to have at the club. He's young, he's talented and very hard working. In the 37 games that he has played, he scored 10 goals and 11 assists, so he does have an eye for goal from the midfield position. Personally, I'll be absolutely delighted if he is the only midfielder that we sign. Look, he's a young midfielder. He has years to go in front of him. He can learn a lot, especially learning from the likes of a mature Paul Pogba and a mature Bruno Fernandes will definitely help someone like him to develop his game. As I said, he's very hardworking and very industrious midfielder. He's got a bit of pace in him. He's what strikes me as a modern box-to-box midfielder, where being a traditional box-to-box midfielder, they also have a bit of creative spark and eye for goal. And that's why I feel someone like him who can come in from the bench or make a starting lineup can definitely have an impact in our starting 11, regardless of whether he comes on from the bench or starts for us in any number of games. Before I move on to the last player that Manchester United should sign for midfield in 2020, I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone that's been supporting me on Twitch. As you guys know, I've streamed Football Manager and variety games, and I'm doing my Manchester United save, and my Twitch description is in the description below. So if you want to get in touch, do let me know, do give a follow, and let's hope we have some chat whilst I'm live. The last midfielder that Manchester United should sign, in my opinion, is none other than Jack Grealish. Yes, he's been mentioned a lot of times, and to be honest, look, hear me out. He's British, that's what Ollie likes. He's still young, he is captain material, he has helped keep Villa afloat in the Premier League, and despite playing in a poor team, in 41 appearances, he's managed to get 10 goals and 8 assists. He can play in a variety of positions. He can play in left wing, left midfield, central midfield, attacking midfield, and behind the striker as well. So he has a lot of mobility on him. Look, he's Premier League proven. He has done things in the Premier League. He knows the Premier League, the culture, so there's no need for him to settle in to the Premier League to get himself running. He can potentially be one of the players that can hit the ground running. Being a leader himself and the quality that he possesses, he can definitely give the likes of Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandez a run for their money. They will clearly know that the minute that they step down in terms of the performance, someone can potentially come into the side and take their position. That's the quality that I feel Jack Grealish has. The problem that I have, and a lot of you will agree, is the price tag. Look, there's reports being touted that he's going to cost upwards of £80 million, 60 to £80 million. That's a lot for a midfielder, and to spend that much, you can definitely find a cheaper potential target from around the Europe. 100%. It's not Jack Grealish's fault, the fact that these are the price tag that's being touted. It is because it's Manchester United. That's one thing, because Manchester United do need a midfielder. Everybody knows that. That's another thing. But most importantly, it's the tax that you have to end up paying if you're a Premier League player. So that adds an easy 15 to 25 million pound on top of a normal sort of figure that everyone is expected to pay, and that could be potentially the stumbling block for Manchester United if they are pursuing Jack Grealish. Look, that's my list, top 3 midfielders that I feel Manchester United should sign in this summer's transfer window in 2020. Everyone will have a lot of opinions, so let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I've had a bit of an interaction last video that I uploaded where I've stated out top 3 defenders that Manchester United should sign. I did miss out Alaba, and Alaba is someone that's viable and more realistic to sign for Manchester United. So if you have any suggestions that is realistic transfer for Manchester United, then feel free to drop it in the comments below. Obviously, this particular list is something that I've kind of built up based on what we need, the personality that we need, and sometimes, especially being Jack Grealish's case, has been heavily linked over the last few months. Look, nothing has happened so far, but clearly Manchester United need squad depth, especially in the midfield area, because we're just one injury away for it becoming a disaster. Imagine getting an injury for Bruno Fernandez, which will potentially happen. I hope it doesn't, but there's 50 plus games in a season. He can pick up a knock or two across the whole season, and who's going to be coming in and creating a bit of spark? Or, you know, there is no one. Andres Pereira, Fred, Scott McTominay, they're not the type of players that can create nothing, something out of nothing. Paul Pogba, we've seen him over the last few years, he does pick up injuries, sometimes it's long term. So it's very important that as Manchester United we have quality in the squad, quality where we can bring on, and that person can definitely challenge the so-called starting 11. In the case of Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba, at the moment they're probably thinking they're untouchable, rightly so that can lead to complacency a little bit. But having a player in the bench, and both of them knowing that someone like Donnie Van Der Beek, Parte, or Jack Grealish, they're actually top players, they can come in, and if I have a bad game, they can easily take the position. And that should be the mentality and culture that we should be building at the club. Promote youth, attacking football, but also have squad in depth, especially in the central midfield area currently. This is Draco Evolve. I'll catch you guys in the next upload and stay farafari.